everybody. I thought we'd start a little bit early. Forgive me for the music. It's not mine. It's Bethesda's. But y'all let me know if y'all can hear me and see me. I'm going to try to be quiet while the AMA is going on. It should start here in about 5, 6, 7 minutes. So I thought we could hang out for a minute and talk. Stand tall. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go, King. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that very, very, very much. As you know, most of the time they are talking about Backwoods and what's coming next week. But in these AMAs, we always get a sneak peek to the future. Just listen to Jon Rush, listen to Bill Acosta really close, because they will say something. They always let teases slip. So I will stay a little bit after the AMA's over so we can talk about it. If y'all have any questions or anything, I'm going to try to be really quiet while it's going on. But thank y'all for joining me here. I appreciate this. It looks like we got a pretty good audience so far. I don't know why they don't have the chat open yet, but they don't. Nice quick correct in the video this week, King. Yeah, gosh. Was that you that gave me that? Man, I was having a lupus moment that, that day. As y'all seen, I hadn't put out as much this week. My lupus has been hitting me hard, but I knew I needed to put that out. And, man, I knew it was March the 3rd. Oh, well. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Don't y'all love this music? We really need to tell them they can help their music. Let's see who's up there. We got Fargassiers up there. Who else is in here yet? Mr. Wiggle Plays is in here. I don't see anybody else yet. Yes, you do. Thank you so much. Can't wait to meet you in West Virginia. I know it. I'm so excited about the Fallout fan celebration in West Virginia. Cannot wait to meet a bunch of y'all. I hope a lot of y'all get to go. I really do. I'll be watching silently for a bit. Have a meeting at 12. Moved from 10. It's like they knew Bethesda scheduled this today. I know it. Well, thank you for watching silently then. I appreciate that. We got about 5 more minutes, guys. Again, a lot of what they're going to be talking about, of course, is the March update, explaining that. But they're also going to be answering people's questions that they've sent in prior. And, of course, most of those questions are about the future of Fallout 76. And they haven't really told us what's coming in June. They haven't told us anything this year. So I'm really anxious to get some teases about the future of Fallout 76. I know somebody will ask about the next gen upgrade. That's always asked. I expect that to be rolling out this summer. Somebody said, fix the chat, it's blocked. Oh, there's the chat. Oh, wow, people are coming in already. It got quiet. They got rid of the music.
Hello, gang.
Hey, here we go.
Oh, I hope you all are doing well. Let me turn on my camera so that you can see me. Happy Friday, gang. Happy Friday.
Oh, he's a super
Start
nice
bringing
guy.
our crew onto the stage. So Bill and Rob, don't be alarmed, but you're getting on here right now.
Y'all let me know if you can hear it good, okay?
Get up here, Rob. Get up here, Rob. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey.
Rob.
Hello.
Get Bill up on here. Get John up on here as well. Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill. Happy
Bill
Friday.
Lost.
Happy Friday.
Let's get Keaton up here too.
Jon
Keaton.
Rush.
Yeah, there we go.
I wanted to be in the audience, Richard.
Yeah. Oh, I could sing you back.
Put me back.
Keaton, welcome.
Hello.
There he is. All right. So we have a few minutes before we're going
Can
to
y'all
actually
hear
get
them?
this
Let me know.
started. And
Make
as
sure you can
always,
hear
as
'em.
people start filing in, they can see and they can hear us. So
I can
how's
hear 'em.
everybody's Friday going?
Good.
Wait, did you say they can
Friday.
hear us? Can't.
They can.
You're
They
wrong.
can.
Oh, okay. Good. I see a lot of familiar faces down on that list. I see Rifle Gaming. For gas here.
Yeah.
Good stuff. KingFanMan, the King.
Yay!
Got FMK here too.
Sunny
Am I-
on 76. I know these people.
He
Yeah,
mentioned
my
me.
Discord chat fans.
Good.
It's
Thank you.
good. Love seeing everybody here. It's awesome.
Let's see.
Sarah dislike that just caught my eye with the raised eyebrow plush icon. I love that. That's great.
Someone's name is just a picture of a duck.
Duck. Everybody knows Duck.
Yeah. I don't want to alert the entire server. That would be a bit rude of me. We'll do that. And then as I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff, I know it's lunchtime for you all, so what do you have planned for lunch? We always talk about food. We start this off by talking about food, Rob. So let's go down the line, starting with Bill. Lunch.
Yeah. So I meal prep these days. So mine is my pizza pasta, high protein, low fat, like really good
Nice.
stuff. Yeah, all over it.
I hate this part.
John, lunch.
Beef jerky and black tea.
That sounds Western of you. That's
Solid.
very Western.
Backwoods.
Right with that.
I will say the beef jerky that he's talking about that's in the office is actually pretty good.
That's
Actually,
not what I'm
is it?
talking about. I've moved beyond. I moved past that. Store bought now.
I'm behind now. All right.
I don't want free beef jerky.
Oh, you want beef jerky that you have to pay for?
Yeah. Otherwise, I question the substance of the beef jerky that's being given out for free.
Ah, fair. I guess. Maybe not fair. And then Keaton, lunch.
Real exciting. I'm gonna have a salad. Oh boy.
That is exciting.
And yes, Bill, there is meat in it. Just
Crazy.
so you're
Keith.
aware.
Hey, man, get that protein. Sure.
Yep.
Crazy with
Chicken
the
and bacon. So
They always
you
do
go.
this, and I have
Excellent,
never
excellent
eaten when
source.
this comes on.
Also healthy. I'm
Then
dreading it's my turn.
Yeah, it is your turn, Rob. Last but
Oh,
definitely
no.
not least, Rob, lunch.
Well, not so much lunch for me. It's closer to dinner time where I am. But
Oh, that's
I
fair.
have leftover pizza from last night, so halfway to Bill's to lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're all you're a bit higher than me on the healthy scale there. So, but it is good pizza.
Give me 1 second. Oh, I had pizza last week. I had this Detroit style pizza. There's like a ghost kitchen, I guess, that popped up nearby.
Nothing. They're
our,
talking about
office,
lunch. Hey,
and they
doll,
do
what's going on?
Detroit style pizza.
just
and
about
it was
to start
actually
talking.
like a really good Detroit style pizza. There's something about like those rectangle blocks with just like sauce poured on top of it, and then the like burnt edges of the pizza that just speaks to my soul. It makes me feel
good
good.
stuff.
Is that
Yeah,
Detroit-
it's good stuff.
Come on.
like pizza squares?
Quit talking
Yeah,
about
pizza
food.
squares. Yeah.
Oh,
Good grief.
We really need a pizza recipe in 76.
Huh. It's funny that you say that because a lot of
Yeah.
people here would agree with you.
I would agree with that.
How this works?
what would
Maybe have tried
what
to
would
do that.
pizza grant you, Bill?
Would it grant you? Well, it
What would it
depends.
grant you?
Because it works for both herbivore and carnivore, so it just kind of depends, right?
Okay.
I like that you could actually mix multiple ingredients to get different effects that you're looking for. That's what I'd be looking to do.
Pineapple pizza.
Oh, okay. It's like a donut from Pokemon ZA.
Do they add donuts?
Sure.
Oh, they have donuts. It's a good one, Richard.
Stand tall. Did I
Yeah,
just
thank
see you
thank
in the
I
chat?
guess, yeah. Joke.
I did.
It was a joke.
DeMarco!
Oh, Alrighty, gang, it is 1:01, so let's go ahead and get this show started.
Here we go.
To all of you who are currently with us, welcome to another one of our Discord AMAs. This is an opportunity that we take to hang out with you all and talk to you not only about the upcoming content that we have for Fallout 76, but also answer a lot of your questions, either about that content or about other things that you just want to know more about. I believe this is our fifth one right now. Let me pull up my own notes. I think this is our fifth one. And for today's AMA, I have a wonderful new co-host, and I'm excited to introduce him to you all. I think a lot of you already know him. He's been working with us on Fallout for a long time now, but we haven't had too many opportunities to kind of get him up on screen and in front of you. So I wanted to take a moment to welcome Rob to our AMA.
Thank you very much, Richard. Yeah, good to be here. Thank you for having me along. Usually the time zone difference always catches us out. So, no, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, give the people a quick introduction if they don't know you.
Sure, yeah. So I'm Rob, also known as Vault of Daedalus. Working on Fallout 76. Been here a few years now. Again, you probably see me around, especially in terms of getting your feedback and stuff like that. I'm over in the UK. If you couldn't tell from the voice compared to everyone else here. That's me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. Hell yeah. So, all right. And Rob's not the only new guest that we have today. We also have Keaton Bracey, live producer. Keaton, give the people a quick introduction to who you are and welcome.
Cool. Thanks, y'all. Keaton Bracey, live producer on 76. Been working here about 5 years now. I've been secretly part of the Discord for a while, and more recently joined in with the this recent patch in PTS and all of that good stuff. So, so generally, what we do is a lot of different things. Is the short version. So we work very closely with Rich and Rob from the community side, listening to all the feedback and trying to push for a lot of changes there. When there's crazy emergencies or bad things happening, we're the ones pushing to get it fixed, which is high level kind of an idea there. There's a lot more to it, but we'll get to some cool questions instead.
Yes, we will. And as always, we're joined by Bill Lacoste and Jon Rush. Bill, John, welcome, and thank you both so much for joining us for another AMA.
Of course.
Sure thing. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Skunk Nugget. I will answer those.
Let's start talking about the
will.
Backwoods, the next big content update for Fallout 76 arriving for everybody for free on March 3rd. Actually, no. I'd skip past a bunch of stuff because we haven't had an opportunity to talk with everybody about Burning Springs. We dropped this huge update that included bounty hunting, included a brand new zone, included new public events. It included the ghoul himself. And then we kind of all went off to watch season 2, and then we had a holiday break, and then we came back and everything kept running. But I wanted to take a moment, Bill, John, Keaton, to kind of talk to you about how the reaction to Burning Springs has sat with you as people who worked on that content for a really long time. Keaton, let's start with you. What are your thoughts about how the community has reacted to Burning Springs?
And fun to see, honestly. It was a excuse me, sorry. I was really there more on the PTS side of things, watching feedback there. But yeah, it's been fun. It was really cool to get the ghoul in there. I thought that was neat to see. The new systems with bounty hunts and all of that has been really fun to be a part of, and much more, at least for me anyway, much more challenging. But I know people out there just definitely destroy those instantly, which is also really cool for me to see. So it's just been fun being in there, playing all the new content, all the new story, creatures, this, that, the other thing. So it's always fun getting the new region in there too.
Yeah, John?
It was great. I think Fallout players, myself included, love seeing when the core geography of the Fallout world expands. And we had never really been to Ohio before, or what used to be Ohio. So it was kind of it was a really fun period where we got to sort of turn Ohio upside down and support that with the story, with the Abraxadine and the chemicals and the Rust King. So I thought it was great. I loved player reaction to bounty hunting and to interfacing with the ghoul. Although I will admit I was a bit surprised because headhunts were supposed to be hard. And, us devs were in playtest. We're like, oh, this is hard. I'm getting my ass kicked. And then like we put this out live and players are like, oh, headhunt, done. So spoiler alert, we'll be making those harder. Can't exactly go into details on that just yet, but they were supposed to be challenging. Anyways, people are enjoying them. So I think all around, really good update. Also, not to mention the new skies, right? The new weathers gave our builders a lot of opportunities for new places to build, new pictures, new videos of their creations. So it was great. It was a fun update.
There's our first hint for the future.
Bill, thoughts about Burning Springs?
Yeah, I mean, ditto everything that they said. I was going to mention in my comment there about the builders and also just the environment that players have to be able to build out these new camps, and it's really cool to see. Also, you got Kabi, so that's a huge bonus.
True, very, very true. All right, so my next question, alongside this Burning Springs, and Bill, I'll start with you. Do you have like a favorite experience playing through that new content alongside the community that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite parts right now are, well, there's two. Really, going through Dirty Laundry. I still don't have all of my Abraxo briefcases just yet.
Same.
Yeah, you and I are kind of on the same when it comes to RNG and also just
yeah.
these things. So we're one in the same person. But also the head hunts and grunt hunts. Like I run those just nonstop, and I just truly enjoy them. And like John said, I actually want harder head hunts now. Like these are, I'm going through these pretty quickly, even with myself. So I want to up the challenge there a little bit, So yeah, but I've thoroughly enjoyed.
We've been watching you. We got a surprise plan for you.
I'm good.
Specifically you.
Yeah, I'm good at this game. I like to punch stuff into oblivion. It's great. So,
John, favorite moment?
Favorite moment. One of the unique things that was added with Burning Springs was like a true community hub in Highway Town. To me, I have a lot of fun just being in Highway Town and seeing the other players coming and going. And that certainly kind of energized us for additional thoughts put towards ways to underline that being a player hub in that regard, other things that we could bring there, other uses that players could get out of the space. So I kind of like the community aspect of it all.
Another hint.
Me too. I mean, just yesterday I was standing around in Highway Town about to put up a new wanted poster, and just being able to see everybody else's cosmetics and then have people see mine too. And then somebody stood there and they were staring at me, and they didn't emote, but they were just we were just like staring at each other, and I guess that they were looking at my glowing Bigfoot mask.
The story was way too shallow, dog.
But I couldn't really tell.
But they were going to add to it.
That must have been what they were looking at.
That must have been what they were looking at. They was like, oh, he finally got a glowing mask. Look at it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's good. Congrats.
Thank you. And then Keaton, any favorite moments from Burning Springs?
I figured that'll be our fall update.
Both of those, so I'm going to go a little off the rails here because I don't want to repeat anything. But yeah, like in general, headhunts, the uniqueness of Highway Town and having the shared interior with everybody. So those things aside, like honestly, just in general, some of my favorite things are more around our Halloween events and timelines. I really like getting out there when we do the trick or treat events and just trying to set up little Halloween towns with different players and camps, and all of that is really fun for me. So not necessarily Burning Springs specific, but just calling out some favorites.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very, very fair. Okay. So for the crew here, I'm switching up the questions a little bit. We're going to talk about a quote from John that has been making the rounds across many media outlets about thickening Appalachia. I think one thing that we definitely saw at the end of last year in our Burning Springs AMA, and then in the list of questions for this AMA for the Backwoods, players are really excited to know about kind of
Amen.
like the
Yes,
future.
I
What's
agree.
the future for Fallout 76? What's coming down the line? How's the team thinking? What are the team's goals moving into this year? And I think that the Backwoods, which we'll talk about right after this question, contributes to a lot of those goals. But everybody's been hanging on to this phrase of thickening Appalachia. And that's gotten a lot of people thinking, because a lot of our questions were about that too. So I wanted to ask John and Bill both to kind of talk about what are the goals for the team
Here
in
we go.
2026?
I feel kind of bad having used that word thickening, because at the time that interview was taking place, it was lunchtime. I was hungry. I was thinking about hamburgers. I was like, oh, I want like a double patty, and so I was thinking of thickening.
Yeah.
It's, I guess we're using that word now.
We absolutely are. I told you that I'm leaning into it because I personally love it, because it does make sense for what the team has planned.
Okay. Me or you first, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead. You can talk about the game stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So what we've noticed over the years, let me back it up a little bit more. This is the first time that BGS has made a live service Fallout game, right? So for us, a big part of this experience has been in getting to know you all, getting to know our community, getting to know what you like, what you prefer. I've used this example before in the past where I'm like, this being our first foray into a live service multiplayer Fallout game was kind of like going on a blind date, right? Where we're like, hi, we're BGS, we have a Fallout game. You're like, hi, we're the community, we want to play. It's like, well, nice to meet you, and then we'll see, become to learn a lot about one another over time. So where I'm going with that is what we've learned is that our players really love to stay within 76's Appalachia. They love to adventure there, and it's a huge space. And it keeps growing, right? The map's mutated twice with Skyline Valley, Burning Springs, maybe more down the road. We'll see. So what we're doing is we're looking at a lot of the systems and ways that players interact with Appalachia, and finding ways to maybe update them, modernize them, streamline them, right? Not at the cost of additional content updates like what we get with raids and with Burning Springs. We want to kind of do that intermittently so that we give folks that big taste of content, and then we come in between the next beat and we do things like the Backwoods, right? Which sort of refreshes the entire map again. It's a big part of my play loop as a player, and I'm sure a lot of the folks at home listening in is going through these events and activities, right? And so, I mean, we've been doing that for years. So why not make them more challenging? Why not add surprises? Why not make them more rewarding? Why not do all of this? So it's, in a way, we are taking if this is the bounds of our map, right? Here, this is the bounds of our map.
Yeah.
Kind of thin. We're taking it and we're making the experience across the map thicker, so that there's more to do. There's more to do on that map. For lack of being able to think of a better example, kind of turning it into a theme park, a Fallout theme park. There's always something to do, always something fun, always something rewarding for you to do with your friends. So when I say thickening, that's what I mean. We're taking existing experiences and making them much more rich. All right.
I love it.
Hey.
I love it. All right, Bill.
Yeah, first off, that prop of sticky notes is not as cool as the snake heads, by the way. So just pointing that out.
As cool as what?
It's not as cool as the snake heads.
Snake heads?
Gloomy notes.
Puppet, right there.
Puppet.
Yeah.
Yes. The snake puppet.
Oh, we forgot to introduce the AMA. Hold on.
Yeah, see? Right. Anyway, so John talked a good bit about the game.
Always good.
Yeah, love
Sorry, Bill.
props. Love
You don't
props.
like the perk
that's
card
fine.
system? Is that what you're
I was
talking
gonna say
about?
that John's talked a good bit about the game there too, but I've talked a good bit about a lot of the technical upgrades that we'll be making across the year too. So we do have next gen / current gen, so Gen 9 machine native builds coming to the project this year. That's on track. That's actually looking really good. And along with that, throughout the year, you're going to see a lot more optimizations to lighting, reflections, shadows, and the game itself is going to get a pretty good, I say, increase in fidelity. It's going to look really good. So we've already seen some good results of that so far. So there's that. And then also just in terms of debt, it's like, look, I've never been one to shy away from saying that, like, look, we've got a game that's 7 years old. There's a lot of things that build up over the years of just technical and design debt. We're going to be knocking that stuff out too. And some of our internal folks sometimes are like, do people really want to see that we're fixing stuff? Yes, absolutely. They want to see that we're fixing stuff. They love seeing big, not that I like to see that there's a huge list of bugs that we fixed. I don't like necessarily seeing that, but the players do, and they know that we're actually listening to feedback, addressing those things, and getting them out the door for them to have a much better play experience. And so, so going along with the work that's going to go into the game, your day-to-day, minute-to-minute work that you're doing, there's also going to be some technical upgrades coming this year, and I think that's really important for this game to continue on. We've got ideas are certainly not short, on this product, and so. We've got a really good roadmap. John's been doing a great job of establishing some really good beats and some really good story elements here. And so we're going to keep cranking those out and continue to make the game better, both on the content side, but also the technical side.
Yeah, it's definitely as one of the many people who are involved in the process of making patch notes. I love the fact that our notes for every update are long, right? The team is making a lot of effort, fixing a lot of things, adding a lot of new content, thickening a lot of systems, and we want to make sure that you all get to know about all of it. So what I'm hearing from both you, Bill, and John, and I kind of wanted to touch on a question that I saw in the dev questions chat, is that things aren't winding down for Fallout 76. I saw somebody mention that they feared through some of the interviews that Fallout 76 might be slowing down because we're focusing on kind of more on making those core systems better. The game's not slowing down. The team's putting in effort. The team's upgrading systems. The team is making content more rewarding, more challenging, because this is the year of kind of like just improving Appalachia.
Yeah, we're not slowing down. We've got ideas for years and years down the road. No shortage of ideas, no shortage of folks to work on them. It's just with a large live service title like this, it's a very slow moving ship. Any adjustments, any corrections, it takes a long time to implement. And we don't want to be reckless about it. We want to do it in the right way, right? So that you're not, getting a feature that we've adjusted or fixed up, and then it's, ta-da, it's broken. So we really want to take our time and do it right. But no, there's no slowing down for 76. Bigger and better, to be honest. Looking at our roadmap, it just gets bigger and better.
Love it. And I promise, guys, we're going to get to your questions. There's just a few more things that we saw. A bunch of questions, a bunch of comments for, a bunch of thumbs up for. The next thing that I want to talk about is cannery updates. When I was going through this list, like yesterday and on Wednesday, like it was cannery, recipes win. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody hears me tell you that the people want cannery recipes. I don't know if there's anything that we have cooking yet, but the people can't say that I didn't tell you.
Canned pizza.
Don't think that works like that.
I was thinking it.
You were thinking canned pizza?
It's almost like a lasagna. It's almost similar.
Yeah.
It's not, though.
It sounds terrible.
It's not. It's not.
Paste.
It's not, though. It's not similar.
Okay.
Let's not say that. Okay, fine. All right. Now let's move on to the Backwoods. And this first question is going to be for you. The Backwoods brings a lot of changes to the kind of day-to-day experience of Fallout 76, and I wanted to know if you could talk about kind of why did the team decide to focus on the topics that we are focusing on for this update. So that's like the events and activities, the Pip-Boy, armor. I was wondering if you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. So working a little backwards there, starting with the armor part, that's been, just a long, ongoing effort as part of our combat balance efforts, which I think started honestly a little over a year ago at this point. But in general, there we're trying to really just make it to where there's not only, a couple viable options, really give people, let them play how they want to play. In general, with all of these updates, again, it's been, you know, a long time. There's still more to come there, and that team pays very close attention to the feedback and things that come up during PTS. So please, don't hesitate to share it there when we're running those. And on the Pip-Boy side, that's been another thing we've wanted to do for quite a while, because in general that system has been a pretty heavy memory hog behind the scenes, and really slows things down in a lot of ways. So that's been built on older technology. So that team, really put in a lot of time and effort to optimize that and change the way that it works without really, changing the way it's experienced from a player side. And in general, that's going to let us do some more expansion on that. You'll notice in this update that there's going to be some new sections separating out your benefits from perks and effects and all of that, trying to make it look cleaner. And again, just really sets us up for the future there. And on the events and activity side of things, a lot of those hadn't been changed in years. A lot of them had stayed the same way since they were initially built and released. So we knew that it kind of, over time with how the game evolved, got off balance. They weren't really worth doing. You would go and get like 3 caps and a stim pack, and nobody wants to do that. So a lot of our goal there was really just broad changes to start, really just to try to bring them up to par with a lot of the other systems in game, a lot of the more recent public events that went out, and just really try to make them more rewarding, and more reason to go do it, more reason to, wander around the map, explore and find cool things and actually benefit from it. So, if you're a higher level player, now you have a chance to actually go get legendary items from those, and it's actually going to be a bit more of a challenge. It's not just static level 10 creature that you're going to smash. We, rebalanced everything to, fit with your player level like we do the rest of the world. So, it should be really good. It should actually, feel meaningful to go do, rather than just a thing that's there and, get something not worth your time and honestly come out at a loss. If you're fast traveling for caps, you should actually get a little bit out of everything at this point.
Love that. Yeah. Thank you. All right, Rob, I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to pass it to you to continue us through the Backwoods questions from the community.
Absolutely. Thank you for the baton. Disclaimer, apologies if I mess up anyone's usernames in advance. So I feel like it's always important to say, but I think we've actually all fairly straightforward. So first question is for Keaton again, actually, if you've still got the breath. This one is from Alan Knight Rider 87. Will Bigfoot roam around the wasteland and give random encounters like the Blue Devil and Ogua, or will it just appear randomly after certain events?
Yeah, so for this, at least to start, he's just tied to 6 different public events. So we kicked around the idea of having random encounter and things like that, and maybe it'll happen in the future. But this initial round, he is just a guy that shows up as a extra bonus at the end of 6 different public events. This is on the community calendar, but for the first week of this release, we're going to be running those events every hour. On the hour, he will have a much higher chance to spawn. He'll be guaranteed, so you'll be able to get there and really experience him for the first week, and then afterwards we, shift into the standard mode for him, where, you could get lucky. He'll show up. He'll have some cool stuff. And yeah, so stay tuned for more in the future, potentially.
Awesome. Thanks, Keaton. I feel like it's very on brand for Bigfoot as well, being one of the more elusive cryptids. Like, he's a bit shy in some aspects.
Exactly.
Next question is for John, and this is from Mr. Pulowski. What is Bigfoot originally going to have been? Is he an FEV mutated zoo gorilla that escaped from the testing facility? I'm really curious if you're going to add lore about Bigfoot and such.
Great question.
Sorry, I was just thinking it's like a mutated chipmunk. We haven't disclosed anything about Bigfoot's backstory just yet. Right now, this is simply the introduction to Bigfoot. He comes, swinging a tree, a tree he's ripped from the ground and throwing blood drunk ticks off his back at you. So for now, I would just focus on survival, maybe seek high ground, find some friends.
Yes.
And over time, a bit more
Great
might be
question.
disclosed about our furry friend.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Keaton, I hope you've not. I hope you caught your breath again. This one is from Radrat 157 regarding Bigfoot and 4-star legendaries. Seeing as Bigfoot will be the open world's first 4-star legendary enemy outside of the Gleaming Depths, will he be dropping any of the 4-star legendary effects on items or from a select pool of effects?
So there's a select pool that we determined out of, Gleaming Depths. We didn't want to take everything out of there, so there was a set of things that we determined that were a little bit more common and frequent than others that he will grant as drops. But that said, he does have his own unique effect as well. So mixed within that, there's a new 4-star called Thrill Seekers that, depending on your kill streak, you'll get either faster reload speed or faster melee attack up to a certain point. So again, you'll get a 4-star either way, but you might get the super special one off of him in particular.
Nice. Always hot stuff. Over to Bill now. This one is from Joy 84. With big changes coming to events, there's a big pain point he sees veterans talk about constantly. Seasonal events like Mothman, Fashion Act, Invaders from Beyond, etc. all seem to have outdated rewards and not really many new plans added. This keeps late game players from being motivated to continue to do these events, taking a great resource for new players away. Even the more popular events have rewards that are outdated. There are so many opportunities to add new camp plans or outfits to whatever reward pools. Do you have plans, or are you willing to update rewards for events to help make them feel more rewarding for veteran players to grind? And when could we possibly see this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing with this update anyway, but there's a lot of new rewards, a lot of new ways to get the things that you need or that you want. But obviously this is going to be something that we continue to do all throughout the next, few years. Like, we will always continue to update those reward pools, get new rewards out there for folks to come in and get. So it's a nonstop effort, but again, 66 or this update here with the Backwoods is kind of that first step in recharging a lot of those older, like you said, outdated rewards pools for events. So it's going to start there, and then it'll just continue. Fashnot obviously being one of our more popular events, we always love dropping new masks in there, and I think John probably may want to talk about that a little more as we go into the future. But yeah, certainly Mothman, Invaders, we will continuously update those reward pools to keep people coming back and finding new stuff. So
Yeah. So as Bill said, for the Backwoods, events have had their reward pools refreshed, as have the U-Minot maps, as have lock boxes found throughout the world. So it's kind of brought it up to what players would expect now. As far as seasonal events like Mothman Equinox and Fosnaut, we update those as we have the bandwidth to. Fosnaut being probably our most popular seasonal event, we always strive to at least add a couple new masks into the rotation. And yes, there are discussions about about ways to get like the older masks out so that they're not part of that role at the end. But as far as like our other events, yeah, we have plans for Mothman, Invaders, Meat Week specifically. Seasonal events like Mischief Night and Big Bloom, since they're relatively newer and a lot of players haven't exhausted those reward pools, those will probably get refreshed reward pools later on. But those aforementioned events should be coming pretty soon.
Awesome.
Fantastic, thank you both. Yeah, it's a really sort of foundational change going on, so it just allows to sort of bounce things off going forward. It's a really great what's the word? Lily pad? Yeah, sure, we'll go with lily pad.
I think that's what's the really cool thing about Discord, though, is that the folks who come in, they play PTS, they see a lot of these changes, or they're playing the normal live game and seeing all these changes.
It's a great idea.
I mean, put that stuff in suggestions. Like if you have a specific event, you have specific recipes or ideas for things like pizza. Put that in suggestions. You don't have to put pizza in. Pizza's already there. But, oh, that's kind of a cool name, John. Bratsnacht. That's neat. I like that. Ooh, oh, so many ideas. that seems awesome. But anyway, yeah, put those in suggestions. Send them to us. Again, we read all that stuff anyway, and we'll try to ingest those as best we can and try to continue updating those pools.
I will say, though, if I see any more canned axolotl pizzas or axolotl pizzas, there will be significant consequences. What those consequences are, I have no idea. But there will be consequences.
Upsets us greatly.
That's
cool. Next question, open floor. So this one is from Zusk. Hello, I'm curious about the creative process that leads to updates like Backwoods being chosen, from concepting to development and finalization. Putting the most well-known cryptid, Bigfoot, in 76 must have been exciting for the team. Do you have any sort of insight you can share about the creative process behind how you sort of decide on the themes and patterns around certain updates?
Oh, come on.
Sure. So we've mentioned before in several interviews that we're always, actually, I think Bill mentioned it in this one too, that we're always paying attention to player feedback, right? So we read all the feedback, we watch it, we listen to it. We can't action on all of it, specific minutia, like you should color this thing red and give it to me kind of things. But we look at like the broader strokes of feedback. I always use Gleaming Depths as an example of that. Our elder players were looking for something that was more challenging and that kind of gave them that next step up in player power in 4-star legendaries. So we made Gleaming Depths and hey, look, this is where you get 4-star legendaries. And then after we made that, players are saying, we want other ways to get 4-star legendaries. So we're like, okay, Bigfoot. So that's how we sort of creatively take player feedback and put it into 76. Everybody here on this call are players of this game too. So for an update specifically like the Backwoods, as I mentioned earlier on, these events and activities are things that we're doing through our daily rotation. They're fun and it's a good chance to play with other players. But as players, we could see these need to be refreshed. These need to be touched again. And so that's largely where the inspiration for the Backwoods came from. It was sort of rooted in, we need to update events and we need to update activities or rename them to activities. And so from that, it spawned a bunch of, that's like the core idea. And then from that spawned a bunch of smaller idea. Hey, have you guys ever heard of U-Minute maps? You what? It's this thing over here. Oh, look, what if we refresh the reward pool here? And we made those, behave a little different. Oh, okay, cool. What about lock boxes? It's like nobody's picking locks anymore. They're just, well, let's change that. So then we refresh lock boxes, right? And who would be like a good like poster image for the update? What would be fun? What about a new cryptid like Bigfoot? I was just playing one of the events, Campfire Tales, and I thought, how funny would it be if Bigfoot emerged out of the trees at the end of it and smashed me in the head? That'd be so funny. And then so we ended up taking that idea and applying it to lots of events. Well, what if it was a Scorch Beast? What if it was a Storm Goliath? What if it was so the ideas always start with one piece and they sort of spiral out in a bunch of different directions. And we look at those different directions and we choose what are most supportive of that core piece. So that's where the Backwoods came from. Sorry, long answer. I hope that I hope that answered your question.
Fantastic.
Okay, good question.
Bill,
Come
Keaton, anything you guys wanted to chip in on? Or
Just to add in, like in regards to the lock boxes and really just exploring the world and finding things, something that, a really cool idea that came up along the way is what we call contextual season items. So everybody knows about the one and only soap tub that's out there that has like 30 pieces of soap in it or whatever absurd amount that is pretty much always empty when we're running those challenges, and we want to just find a fun way to solve that. So in general, when there's the various item collection challenges, as you go around through the world picking locks and all of that, you will now have a chance to actually find some of that in there, just to help aid in those challenges and get those done in different new ways. So really excited about that one.
Great, thank you. Moving on to the next question for John again. This is from Sonny on76. With Burning Springs, we got Grunt Hunt and Head Hunts, which came with its own set of challenges and rewards. Is there a possibility of having challenges for hunting down cryptids in the future?
Well, everybody's just running and gunning for those cryptids. No wonder they're so elusive. Everybody wants to kill them. Hey, I love cryptids as much as the next person. I think that would be fun. We've discussed future ideas for cryptids, kind of along those lines, but nothing set in stone. Definitely something that makes 76 unique from the other Fallouts is how many cryptids there are running around, and so yeah, I love kind of playing that up. So stay tuned.
Awesome. I just want to call out the irony here of you being team cryptid but not team Carolotl. So I'm just going to point it out.
Listen, when you're in the wasteland and you're hungry and all you have is this axolotl that looks like a piece of candy, it just shit happens, man. It just happens.
Okay.
Thank you for that, John.
Sure.
This one is from FMK, I believe, and this is for Keaton. The announcement that events and activities will be reworked was very welcome, but feels like some of them still need additional polish and a bit more tweaking to the structures, like dedicated soundtracks for older events to bring them in line with newer ones. It would go a long way. Is this something we can expect down the line?
Kind of like we were talking about earlier. That is stuff that we want to do in the future in general. I don't really have anything specific to share there, but really our starting point with these was really just, again, try to make them, much more similar across the board. There were things out there that would, I want to say, what is it, breach and clear? Like that one would run for like an hour if nobody did it. It had an absurd timer that just always kept things going. So a lot of our goal here was really just, all right, speed things up, make them more rewarding, make them worth doing as a baseline. And honestly, a lot of the mentality behind disabling things like Dogwood Die-Off is so we could expand on these in the future, because that one in particular occupied basically the entire Toxic Valley every time it starts. That prevents us from really using that region for something cool and new in the future. So again, I think, we had a lot of cool ideas that we didn't quite make it into this one, but I do think it's something we will look to return to in the future for sure.
Fantastic. Another one is from Richard, and I'm not sure if this is Richard or Imposter Richard or who. So we'll find out.
This one's for me.
He's so nice.
Hey, are you serious?
Yeah.
Put your own questions in there.
I did.
That's cheating.
Rob,
It is cheating.
Is Rob going to read Richard's question?
Yeah.
Should we try and just like
Thank you,
mime it at the
sweet
same time?
No.
Do it.
I think you should just. Yeah.
Well, roll with it then. This is for everyone, by the way, if Richard didn't make it clear. The Pip-Boy is receiving some substantial updates in its functionality. What improvements are you most excited about, and how does this change improve the game not only now, but into the future?
Regarding Pip-Boy?
Yes, Pip-Boy update, sorry.
Richard, that's an astute question. Okay, so of course players, right? We're going to see that the Pip-Boy is much more performant. It's easier to navigate. For developers, what that does for the Pip-Boy is it makes it much, much, much easier to expand on for future updates. Leaving it there. I'm most excited for the expansion part, but I'm glad that folks are going to have a nice performance boost too.
Yeah, that part's honestly my favorite. Is really the performance and memory gains, because this this contributes to a lot of those crashes and things like that. I'm not going to say it fixes everything, but again, behind the scenes, that thing was just eating up memory. So it's going to be a really good win for our client team as well. So selfishly, my favorite part is the stuff you can't really see.
Speaking of stuff you can't really see, there's no more shrinking text on there too. So that's super helpful. So they'll scroll, and then also some of the bigger text boxes will be scrollable as well. So that's a big change. But also the differences in some of the tabs that you mentioned earlier, Keaton. Recipes, you can find plans faster. Like all that stuff is a huge improvement to the way it used to work.
Fantastic, thank you. Taking a side step over onto a slightly different ladder now, we've got a question about the Gleaming Depth specifically. This is from Gunny X, and this is for Bill. Earning the weekly raid reward box was a nice incentive to complete the full raid at least once per week. That reward was removed, and we haven't had an update on its status. Could we get an update on the weekly raid reward box? Gosh, try and say that 5 times as fast. Weekly raid reward box. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say first off, though, we were actually very happy with the engagement that we saw with that event or that challenge. A lot of people really got into it. I don't have an update in terms of the fix for it now, but we have investigated. We do have a couple of ideas that we're tracking down right now that we can apply to it. And so we'll hopefully have those for you relatively soon. So we do want this to come back. It was very popular. People want it. It's actually a really good way for us to get people going into the raids that maybe have not traveled into the raids before. And so, yeah, we've got some work to do here, but it certainly is not off our list right now. It's actually on the list right now. We are working on it.
Awesome. Good to know. Passing the baton back over to Richard now.
Thank you, Rob. You can take a quick break. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is in-game. We received a lot of questions about in-game and about the community just kind of want to know how the team is thinking about in-game content, not only for solo players, but also for group veteran players too. So for John and Bill, this first question is from Dust Bunny Anna. I know this is mainly an online multiplayer game, but a big chunk of the player base are, as you probably know, solo players, both among the old and the new. The group players have gotten the raid, but there isn't really anything similar for solo players to do in the in-game right now. Are there any plans to add challenging in-game content with in-game rewards for solo players?
You or me, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just touch on it really quickly, but this actually does go back to what John was talking about in terms of thickening up, more of Appalachia. There's a lot of space there that hasn't been used, a lot of characters, that are in those areas that could be expanded upon. So I think it's going to be a combination, right? Because we do have a multiplayer game here, so we do have to service both multiplayer players, but also single-player games. We have 3 major groups of players that engage with us. We have builders, we have adventurers, and then we have like the really hardcore min-maxers. And so there's got to be content that really goes and spreads across all those 3 groups, and that's kind of tough, patch to patch to be able to service that. So, but yeah, there will be content for single-player folks coming in. You can definitely expect for there to be more side quests, some main quests, things like that in the future. So yeah, really just the whole game in general is getting thicker there for Appalachia.
I so regret being hungry.
I love it.
I so regret it.
It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy.
In-game is kind of tricky, right? Because as Bill said, we have players who play in so many different ways that an in-game for Bill might be different than an in-game for me, might be different than an in-game for Richard. So yes, we recognize kind of the larger demographics that make up the player base in 76. And over the course of these updates, we do try to focus on one or the other a bit more. For instance, Camp Revamp, that's obviously an update for builders, right? Camp Revamp, obviously an update for builders. The Backwoods, obviously an update for those that like to get out there and adventure and shoot stuff. And a lot of our player base, they kind of cross the streams. They sort of play both sides. So in game, I'm going to translate to challenging content, right, in my head. So challenging content for players who like to play on their own, who like to maybe experience more story or the like. Yeah, there's going to be stuff like that coming, like, well, we're talking about ways to make raids more accessible to folks who might not be level 13,000. You know what I mean? And so maybe folks could go in there and run a version of it on their own, or the like. So yeah, it's something we keep our eyes on, and I appreciate the question and you bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you, Dust Bunny Anna. All right, this next question is for John. It's from Joy84, and it's about thickening of the game and raid content. I'm gonna go straight to their question because we are running low on time and I want to make sure we get through as many people as possible. So Joy84's question is, are there plans to add more challenging late game content such as another raid or other group oriented content? More dungeons such as expeditions or raids would be most welcome.
It's not hard enough right now. It's not challenging enough right now, Bill says. Then to that I say yes. Mm-hmm. There are definite plans for much more challenging content down them country roads. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry. And I'm actually going to wrap Baltimore Actual's question into this too, because everybody's asking for challenge, everybody's asking for in-game content, and Baltimore Actual was looking for your thoughts about difficulty. Yeah, like what would be too difficult versus kind of like where we are now. So I'm actually going to ask John, Bill, both. We know that players are really, really good at melting content that the team creates. But how does the team think about difficulty in relation to what we want players to like be doing? If that question makes any sense, because I'm kind of taking Baltimore's question and I'm merging it with my own thoughts.
Yeah, I've got thoughts. Do you want to go, Bill, or me?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first kind of element there that we started off doing a couple of years ago, or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, was just the normalization of the world. We wanted players to be able to experience a challenge no matter kind of what level they were, even in events and even with bosses. But that's not to say that in the future there might not be an actual minimum level that's much higher for some of the other creatures that may be entering the world. So again, it's one of those things, especially with so many weapons, so many pieces of armor, so many legendaries, so many perks that fall into it, that it just takes a lot of time to kind of balance that out. We have to make sure that we are servicing a large group of folks to be able to engage in these combat scenarios. And when we talk about the headhunts, for example, making those harder, we have to be very careful about that. Because if we could make it to where it's only the top 1% that can actually take it down if they're all together and do it, and that's not going to be fun for the rest of the groups, who want to do headhunts. So again, it's just a very calculated, effort that requires a lot of testing, a lot of feedback and iteration, from the team. But we are always, like we were talked about earlier, very conscious of the fact that we have such wide range of players, but also player levels and weapon and armor and skill levels, in terms of the min-max, element. There's players who are just now getting into it. There's players who've been here for a long time. So we just got to make sure it's balanced.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of chatter about PvP. I'm going to touch on it a bit because, yeah, for some folks that is more challenging content, or the next thing. PvP. So before we shipped, we could have sworn, multiplayer Fallout, everybody's going to want to kill each other. Cool, let's let them, and they, you guys didn't. You guys want to play together. You guys want to build stuff and show it off and just have fun adventuring in the wasteland together. So Nuclear Winter was a fun experiment, right, with PvP, in that it was kind of, it was an isolated experience off on the side, and it let folks who wanted that to go and pursue it, right? Nuclear Winter, though, kind of being a parallel service to the Fallout 76 that we all play, requires its own huge team to support and to update and to make sure that stuff is going okay.
Make it an event.
And that was unfortunately just a team that we didn't have, right? And when we held those needs up against how many players were actually playing Nuclear Winter, it seemed like the best course was to turn our attention back to supporting the map of Appalachia that we're all playing on. However, we have had talks and there are discussions about ways to bring PvP into 76, not in a way that like I see Bill running around and I'm just going to start shooting him. It would be very much in the same spirit of a Nuclear Winter in that it's an isolated environment, right? That you purposefully somebody has to purposefully sign up for or engage with, and it would be kind of non-punishing, everybody coming in on a level playing field sort of thing. But again, it would be kind of a 76 version of PvP. But yeah, we were amazed. You guys all want to be friends in the Wasteland. Perhaps there's hope for the future. As far as like other types of in-game content, what we want people to be doing, what we're picturing people doing at that stage of the game is we just want them adventuring, moving around the map, doing things, right? We don't want them to have to stop and sit somewhere for a while so that they can eventually work up to the next thing. An example that I could give, I've got more props, is if you're playing the game, and you get to a point where you're able to kill the Scorch Beast Queen all the time, right? You show up every time. It's no challenge anymore. You've gotten all the rewards. The next real step for you doesn't exist here. It's kind of way up here, and it's Gleaming Depths, right? There's a huge rift between here, and it's hard to bridge that gap, and it takes a lot of time, and it has people kind of at a stalemate until they can finally get here and then go through that content. So that's why I mentioned earlier on looking for ways to insert like intermediary steps in between to help that progression, right? So players feel that sense of progression and don't get frustrated because they're stuck somewhere. So as far as future content that might, that might be harder, right? Where we would go from here is instead of going way off here off the chart, we would just take it up a bit, and make them a little more rewarding, maybe the next step up in player power, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the way we think about it. But when players start just kind of standing still and not wanting to engage in stuff, that's when we know that there's a disconnect between what we've offered and what players expect.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's why, we've rebalanced a bunch of events in the Backwoods update, right? Because we want to make sure that anything that pops up for the player to do is rewarding. It's like we don't want people to feel like, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm not going to get anything from it, right?
Right. Yeah. It's got to be a nice, steady crescendo of progression is really what it is.
Love it. All right, so this next batch of questions is going to be for the entire group. Whoever has a thought can speak to it, and it's kind of miscellaneous and is mostly focused on requests from the community. So this first one's from Grim, and it's a perk build saving feature. It would be amazing to not have to change my legendary perk cards every time I change my save build / loadouts. Can we please have a way to save builds with dedicated legendary perk cards and change when you change the save build?
So my controller fell off my desk when you were reading that. I think I missed a part of it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, it distracted me. I don't want it to break.
You're out there grabbing props and knocking things down. So Grim, our friend Grim, was making a request for a feature that allows them to save their legendary perk cards so that they don't have to change them out every time they switch out builds.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. I would also love if we could tie specific gear to some of those, like a loadout. That would be really cool. It's ways to streamline the experience for players so there aren't so many moving parts. We talk about those all the time, and they will come out, not speaking on those specifically, but those types of improvements will come out usually with each even numbered patch, right? That lines up with our spring, summer, fall, winter. And so, yeah, we've got eyes on it. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's something I would love to. I'm sure everybody here would agree.
Yeah,
same.
it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Keaton.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I saw that one, kind of lurking on the questions threads, and I thought that was a really cool idea because it would fit great with the punch card machine that we already have. That you can change your special, just have a, legendary thing there too. So I thought that was a really great idea.
Yeah, we've also discussed some ideas on changing up how the punch card machine works too. But I may be spoiling this, and maybe it's not in 66. But Keaton, do you remember? I believe we actually took the perk coin
Yeah.
requirement off of
That's part of this one.
changing out legendaries as well. So that's in 66.
Yep.
So that's kind of step one. And then now that we're past that, I think we can actually focus on some more, updates to that system. Because also, I think one of the things that bugs me a lot is certainly trying to, or having to go back and forth between assigning the specials and then assigning the perks. That needs to be all in one, and so that's something that we'll be looking at to try to change in the future, just to make that system and that feature and that screen a lot easier to navigate and also change out loadouts. So
Yeah, in chat, 66 means patch 66, aka the Backwoods update.
Sorry, the Backwoods is what I meant.
Giving away
Sorry.
numbers.
Giving away our update numbers.
But it is
it's
good
on the
for
wiki.
people to. It is good for people to understand that we are on update 66 at this point.
Yeah.
Free updates. I mean, it's a long time, and I think it's just a good reminder of how far we've come.
Yeah.
So the next one. Don't say the next one. That's the next one.
The next, yeah, no.
We're skipping
that
that
one's
one.
been canceled. Yeah, that one's been canceled. So
Yeah.
we're skipping directly to 68.
I still
just
don't
like-
get that. I still don't understand. My kids laugh at me whenever I say it. I
Because
don't know what I'm
you're
saying.
too old, John.
Thank
You're too old. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Richard.
Ouch.
All right,
Yeah.
the next question is from Pika, and it's just a request: allow us to put serums in the aid box. And Pika, I'm sending that directly to the team who's in charge of making those decisions. So, set it here. Get 6-7. Let's talk about 8-9. Okay. All right. No, don't at me anymore. I'm trying to talk, guys. All right. So the next question is from Brown6262, and it's about ghoul disguises. Will there be any update on the ghoul disguise system at all? How is the team feeling about the feedback received about the player ghoul experience?
We've got more work planned for ghouls. More
Love
work
it.
planned for ghouls. Yeah, nothing really to go over today, but again, streamlining, smoothing out the process. It's all on our minds.
Fair.
I
Very,
think
very fair.
specifically though to the disguise, we've heard the feedback. Like we agree. So there's gonna be things we're talking about internally about how to improve that process. So John can get mad at me later, but I think it's something we need to address and say, yeah, we should make some changes to that system because that's a sticking point for a lot of us, myself included. I go in, I'm like, oh crap, I got to go back up to Jay again and switch out my disguise. So we understand there's a pain point, and we certainly want to address it. So yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from DankB3. Is there any plan to update shelters and what can be built in them, like water, sinks, producers, allies, crops, even if they are static and or simply act as decor?
Yeah, we've discussed having versions of those that are static and just act as decor. As far as being able to have generators and stuff in your shelter that actually do make things, there's a very hard technical limitation there that with unique to live service games where we cannot do that. One note about shelters, especially the outdoor ones, we're talking with our client engineers about ways to fix some of the shadows in some of them. I don't know if anybody here noticed some of the shadows not working in shelters. That's something that we're keeping an eye on. But as far as having them as resource generator farms, no. But you'll at least be able to get that visual or that aesthetic that you're looking for, I think.
Awesome. Next question is from Swamp Thing 55. Is there any plan to include all regions other than Ohio for grunt headhunts? Maybe add bounties on region-specific targets?
Good question. Anybody?
What do you think, Bill?
I'm gonna defer to you on that one.
What do you think, Keaton?
I know
answer
things,
all
but I'm
the
not going to be the spoiler. So.
You guys have a voice.
Nah,
We've
you're
got
going to
voices,
answer
but,
everything.
you know.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to give away too much, though, but I know it's another thing that, again, team talks about it. We've got some cool ideas there, so just stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say.
For expanding grunt hunts and head hunts?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
where you leave it.
It's a fun idea, right?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is from Manulet. And you actually just answered this, John. I was wondering if there was any plans to change or improve camp lighting in terms of light sources in some of the
Yes,
outside
there are.
shelters.
There are.
And yes, there are. There you go.
When
The
TBD, but there are plans.
There are plans. Troy the Mighty has the next question, and it's the crafting area has just about everything. He's asking for the aid box in Highway Town. The crafting area has just about everything except an aid box. The aid box seems to be overlooked often. The staging areas in the raid are proper. I'd like the Highway Town and survival tents to mimic that area.
Good call
I
out.
saw that one. Yeah, totally agree. Like, that's one of the newer ones. I know we set up cool areas around, like, Nuka World and the raid with all of those different stash boxes, so, like, it's worth reevaluating that, I think, just to see how we can keep things in parity. But yeah, that being one of the newer one, totally know it's not everywhere. So
Thank you. All right, so that wraps us up for the questions that we have time for today. I think, Rob, let's take us through the last two questions, and then we'll thank everybody for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is from Naked Vault Dweller. And for everyone, this is, after this update, what do you hope players are talking about a week later?
Sorry, after this update, what?
After this update, what do you hope players are talking about a week later?
Oh, I hope players are swapping stories about how Bigfoot smushed them into the ground. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be fun. Players are going to have a lot of fun with Bigfoot.
yeah, I'm looking forward to all the pictures from Bigfoot. And really, again, just in general, how much easier it is to find some friggin' soap out in the world. I'm looking forward to that one.
Fun fact about our Bigfoot. He's called Bigfoot for a reason. One of his feet are bigger than the others. So he literally has a big foot.
A Bigfoot?
A Bigfoot, yeah.
A big foot. The other one's, it's like size 12. The other one's
Right.
huge. Yeah.
I agree, though.
Big feet just doesn't have the same ring to it, really, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And last but not least, then we've already established that I'm terrible at tongue twisters.
Yeah.
God,
I did not do this on purpose.
Yes, you did. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck
Oh, good grief.
was Bigfoot?
I'm stealing this one
Give me
because
some
I was
real
excited about it. And the answer is he's not throwing any wood because he's going to throw ticks at you instead. So, final answer.
And it's
Nice.
done. It's done.
And I didn't even have to repeat myself on that one. Thank
yeah,
goodness.
you nailed it. So if I did do it on purpose, it's because I trusted you.
What does it mean to
Thank you,
chuck
Richard.
wood? What's chucking wood?
Like, just throwing it, I guess? Yeah.
Woodchucks
Right?
don't wood.
I mean, they could chuck it with their tail. I assume that
I don't
they're
think
like
that's
that
what the
tail
word
has
means.
some.
This is really
I'm sure.
what we're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about.
not what the word means. The word means like chucking, like a. It's not like a toss. It's like harder than a toss, but not a complete throw.
Y'all
So
stick
maybe it's
around.
'cause
We're
it's
going to talk
heavy,
about
right?
what they went over.
So you chuck it because you're like struggling.
In
At least that.
context, I would think chucking something would be throwing it exceptionally hard. But woodchucks don't throw wood at things.
Have you been around many woodchucks?
Oh, my gosh.
I've got a lot of stories, Rich.
No, you do. I know you don't. All right.
Exactly, Tom.
With that, we're going to shut things down. We are a bit over time, so a huge thank you to our guests, Bill, John, Keaton. Thank you so much for taking some time to answer these questions. Rob, thank you so much for being my co-host. I loved having you here. We'll get you back on. And thank you to the community for showing up for this. You know, we like doing these things because we get to talk directly to you all. You see us in the chat here pretty often too. If we didn't get to your question, just know that we saw it, but we just didn't have enough time to answer everybody's questions. But we really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to kind of think about the game and ask your question. We hope that you're excited for the Backwoods arriving on March 3rd, and that'll be it. Any last words from the crew here?
You handled it well, but
Yeah.
again, just thank you. This was fun. It was good chatting with y'all. So appreciate the time as well.
I wanted to especially thank Richard for all of the questions today. It was
Yeah, I
very
did.
active in the community. It's really good.
Look, man, if I'm running the show and I see it's like, oh, I would like to hear your thoughts about this, I'm gonna throw it in there.
No, we love it. No,
I think Richard gave Rob all the difficult questions.
It's Rob's first show. There has to be something.
Yeah.
This is his hazing. You're
Trial by
hazing.
combat.
Amen, Dylan.
It's not hazing. We don't use that term anymore.
Thank you,
Okay,
Rob
guys.
and Rich, for hosting this AMA. And thank you to everybody out there for your continued support and enthusiasm, for all your feedback over the years. We're players just like you. We want to make this game great just as much as you want it to be great. And we are here for the long haul. We're here for you all. So thank you so much.
Yay.
All right, gang. Thank you. Catch you next
Thanks,
time.
y'all.
You will. See you then.
All right, guys. Let's go over what they talked about here. I've got about 15 things we can talk about real quick. Y'all tell me what y'all liked. Yeah, that ending was really rough, so I had to cut in there for a minute. They talked about making the headhunts more challenging. This is something that is upcoming pretty soon, I guess. So that's going to be, and we've got to think, most of what they were talking about was this year's goals, 2026. So keep that in mind. All this is about thickening the game, making the game thicker. So making the headhunts more challenging, that's something they said right off the bat. Bringing more things into Highway Town, I like that. I wish more vendors would come in there. John specifically said, and I have heard him say this so many times, he told me in New York this very same thing. He says, we've noticed people want to stay on the map. So if you're thinking about more expeditions or anything like that, I don't believe they have plans for that at all. They do have plans to expand the map to the east, but that will be probably next year now. That's just what John's talking about. He likes to stay on the map. And real quick, thank you, Mr. Skunk Nugget. Thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. Great questions that you gave, and I'm going to ask Bethesda those questions. Number one, Mr. Skunk Nugget asked, can you split the vendor stash from personal stash? Absolutely. So much weight, and yes, that would be wonderful. And then number two, you said switch builds in your Pip-Boy. That is great. I'm going to send both of those suggestions on to Bethesda. Also, DeMarco Dude said something that was very interesting. If you noticed all the way through that, they talked about changes that they have to make to put these new things in. You're talking about an 8-year-old game that has been built upon and built upon and built upon. So adding anything is very tedious. So just keep that in mind when they're doing new things. But that's the next thing. Bill and John talked about the optimization, next-gen upgrade. all this, they said, is necessary for future updates. So they are adding technology this year to help the game be more stable. Everybody can go, yay to that. To look better, obviously, but I guess most importantly for us, to be able to add things in the future. So, what Bill said is yes, the next gen is coming in a future update this year, but they're going to be adding that optimization constantly throughout the year. So that's a very good thing. I'm glad somebody asked about the future of Bigfoot, if there's going to be lore to them. Of course, they didn't answer specifically, but yes, I do believe there's going to be lore coming to Bigfoot, like we got Sheep Squatch, like we got to the Wendigo Colossus. So I hope there's a whole quest line in that. That would be great. They did specify that there's only a select pool of 4-star legendary things that will drop. Not all of the 4 stars out of the raids will drop with Bigfoot. And of course, he has a new mod that's just his called Thrill Seekers. Loved this question because remember, all the events and all the activities are being reworked, and they've all been added to their reward pools, all of them. But people pointed out that, you know, some of us that's been here for 8 years, we've gotten all the rewards from all the events. So they did talk about adding more rewards to things like the Mothman Equinox, to the Halloween thing. So that's going to be great. Also, there is a new event coming in July. Have no idea what it is. It's going to be centered around like a what am I trying to say? July 4th party, because they've literally made a mask that is a hot dog bun and hot dog. It's called Broshnaut. So I don't know what it is, but we do have a new event coming in July. Even John put that over in the comments twice. He put Broshnaut coming. So that'll be in July. Let's see. Most of what they've done with the Pip-Boy, did y'all notice what they were talking about? Most of the changes to the Pip-Boy are not going to be things we see. It's things that will speed up the game on their end. They're trying to get rid of any extras, and that goes back to DeMarco's point that this game is stacked full. So they're trying to optimize by taking any of the fluff out that they can, and that's what a lot of the Pip-Boy changes are. They did talk, a new raid is coming. I've been mentioning this for a long time. I do think it's this year, but it's close. A new raid is coming. Plus, they talked about, and I thought this was a great idea, more in-game content, but not just a hard raid that nobody can do. They're talking about doing something in between the Scorch Beast Queen and the raid, somewhere in that difficulty. So that's going to be fantastic. Let me go over y'all's questions, comments. Tell me what questions y'all have. What did y'all like about what they said? What did you not like about what they said? Now that Todd let Creation Engine 3 out of the bag, I want 76 upgraded to it. Wouldn't that be fabulous? Yes. And yes, a new map expansion to the east is going to happen. We're going to get the outskirts of Washington, D.C. I think it'll be next year now, though. But I've talked personally with John, and it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. High Conductor says, you got to realize they were at the limit of the creation engine they used for Fallout 76. We're probably at the end of the game for Fallout 76 if they're having issues with space and map limitations. I don't think so. I think they're just going to have to get creative in finding ways to optimize, and that's one of the reasons that this year, the whole year, as Bill Lacoste said, they are upgrading the technology for Fallout 76. Now, are we going to get the Creation Engine 3? No. But they can use some of that technology to optimize the game, to make it smoother, to make it... I saw somebody else talking about the rubber banding in the game. I hate that rubber banding. To get that out of the game. Surfer says they can't do build changes in the Pip-Boy because pardon me, modders would be able to have every perk card at once. That's true. Dakota says, oh, he's talking to Surfer. Okay. Unexpected outcome. How you doing? Hope Jonathan Rush understands that many solo players are high level and want challenges comparable to the Gleaming Depths. We don't need it easier just so that one person could do it. I am glad they actually addressed that. I thought that was really cool. And they're talking about doing something in between the Scorch Beast and the raids. I thought that was really good. High Conductor says they would have to remake the entire game in Creation Engine 3. Correct. That's why we can't get that upgrade. I do believe, I know this is off the subject right now. I've said this many times. I'll go on record again. Once Fallout 5 comes out, then that will be the slow end of Fallout 76. I believe they're planning 76 to go on past Fallout 5 about a year or 2 or 3, however long it takes to make that next multiplayer game, and then we'll get a new multiplayer game. I believe that 100% as well. DeMarco says, it's the downside of live service. You're building on top of stuff with more and more and more that it can easily become spaghetti. Absolutely. 100. Yes, there was next-gen update news. Absolutely. That was one of the first things they talked about, Alien, that there is a main update coming for the next-gen upgrade, but we're going to be getting new technology and optimization all year long. So, yes, the next-gen upgrade is coming in an update. I suspect it to be this summer. They didn't tell us when, but they did say this year. So, there you go. Stand Tall, welcome to the King's Crew, buddy. Thank you. All right, a new member. I love it. Hey, Flakes, what's going on? Sadly, they are nerfing the Gleaming Depths down more and more to make it soluble. I'd prefer if they made something new as one of those in-between things tailored to solo players. I agree. I don't like the nerfing and the changing of things. I understand why they do it with some things, but they do it way too much, in my opinion. Way too much. Let's see. Would you say it would be the end or just the end of active development? Engineering the end of 76 just to immediately follow with another multiplayer Fallout game wouldn't sit well with a lot of players. No, I mean it's the beginning of the end. They would start slowing down the content. And that then we'd have to have a whole other conversation about what they do with Fallout 76. Is there a way to make it to keep a server open so you can go back and play it? I don't mean continuing the live service, but that's a whole other conversation that's going to happen later on down the road. Mr. Skunk Nugget, thank you so much. Sent 5 KingFanMan gift memberships. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you support me so well. Y'all are wonderful. So, Unexpected Outcome is now a member. Thunderhogs is now a member. Ooh, I love your title, Thunderhogs. That's great. Go Hogs. Splat Gang, Mike Keys, and it's a symbol, but they all receive memberships. Great. That is wonderful. They also talked about a PvP type event coming. I think Dahl had it. I mean, we've talked about this before, but making Prickett's Fort a PvP, you saw me typing it in twice to him. I think that would be a great thing. I do know this. I do know they are working on reworking the workshops in Fallout 76 as well. Going to make them like faction-based workshops. So there might be some PvP they're thinking about there in the workshops maybe. I would love bringing Nuclear Winter back for like an event like Foshnot. Make it a 2-week thing once a year. And I know there would be problems with it. I know there would be a lot of wait times. But I think that would be a great thing to do. Probably an option to transfer your live service character over to a single player character. Yeah, they're going to have to do something when it comes to the end of this, when we've put 10 years into a game. Now, of course, they talked about more. Those were the things that I got, the hints that I got of what is coming in the future. They didn't tease near as much as they normally do about the future. We do know the next gen stuff is coming. We do know they're going to continue to add to the reward pools, to all the events. But I was really hoping they would talk about like opening up some of the buildings in Fallout 76, maybe some of the doors in the White Springs. You know, there's so many things they can do to make the game thicker. But if y'all have any questions left to me or anything else y'all want to talk about, please let me know. I was just looking back over my list. There was several things that were asked, but making more ghoul content, hunting cryptids. They like that idea. They were asked, and I read it different. Y'all tell me what you think. They were asked if they had any plans to bring the headhunts to other regions other than the Burning Springs. And nobody wanted to answer that. Normally, when they don't want to answer, from what I've seen in the past, it's because they have something already planned. And I can't remember his name, the guy on the right-hand side of the screen. He did say stay tuned. So, yes, I do believe the headhunts and grunt hunts will be coming to all the regions. Now, making them harder, I don't know what they're going to do to make them more challenging. I hope they don't just make them more of a bullet sponge. That would be terrible. I hope they find creative ways to make them more challenging. Just my opinion. So, any other questions or thoughts on the AMA? I wish they would have talked more about the future, but I understand. I absolutely understand. DeMarco Dude says, I want Fallout 76 to keep leaning into the weird side of mutations and fauna and flora. Yes, 100%. I love that. I love the cryptids. That's one of the things that made me fall in love with Fallout 76, because they actually took what's going on in West Virginia and brought it over into the real world. I love that. Of course, if you've seen any of my videos, the scary places, I love that. So yeah, absolutely. What would you personally want to see the big 76 updates this year, King? Flakes, it's hard for me to answer that because I've kind of got in my mind what is coming already. What would I like to see? I definitely want to see more story with the Rust King. I know it's coming eventually. I don't know if it's coming this year, but I thought that story was way, way, way too short. They leaned heavily into the grinding instead of story. So we definitely need more story with the Rust King, and I hope it brings in the Enclave. I would love to see that be the winter update. Normally they save the winter update for the big one. And so hopefully we'll get that more Rust King story and Enclave in the winter. I suspect we're going to get the next gen upgrade and a new raid this summer. That's okay. I would rather have that, what Unexpected Outcome was talking about. I would rather have that intermediary in-game stuff so that both solo and teams can do it. That's what I would like to see. But I do believe there's a new raid coming this summer, probably the June update. So, let's see. Dahl says, actually, what would be great once they end 76 as a live service, it would be nice if they would release the server-side software so players could run custom servers for co-op play on their own. Man, that would be super. Talk about, and Bethesda could, they could still run Atomic Shop stuff and make money off of it. I'm telling you, they could. Unexpected Outcome says, love the expanded hunt regions, and I think creating legendary loadouts would be great too. Yes, quite a few good ideas were presented, yes. Yes, they've got to tie the legendary perks over to the loadouts. They're going to have to do that, and I think Jon realizes that. I don't know the technicalities of that. Maybe it's very hard to do, but I think they were in agreement as well to do that. Well, guys, thank y'all for joining me today. I'm excited about Fallout 76 future. I think we're going to get 2 really good updates for the remainder of the year. Like I said, I believe it's going to be a raid and then the Rust King story. They may surprise us and throw something else, but I love that even Bill Lacoste said that not just in the main raids, we're going to continue to thicken, they kept using that word, the map, even in the little updates as well. Like this time, the Backwoods update, things that, they updated safes and lockboxes and things like that, so we find more legendary stuff in it, so that we find things like soap in it. I love that. So you can do your challenges a lot easier. I hope they put more than just soap in there. But anyway. Flake says players will find a way. We have all the necessary files, and others have already figured out how to effectively do the same multiplayer infrastructure in Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Thank you guys for joining me today. I could just keep talking to you about Fallout 76, and I love hanging out with y'all, but thank you so much. If you're not subscribed and you love Bethesda, that's all I talk about. I do lore, tips, reviews, live streams, podcasts. So please hit that subscribe button and come back. We have a great community here as well. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button as well. And thank y'all for putting up with me. I love you guys more than you know, and I appreciate you more than you know. So I hope y'all have a great, great rest of your day. And by the way, I got my Elvis shirt on because my griping to the IMAX theater, they've brought Elvis to IMAX, and I get to go today. So I'm going to go see Elvis Presley in concert. So I'm pretty excited about that. Y'all have a great rest.